Is the action for reconveyance based on the alleged fraudulent transfer and registration of a property subject to prescription? And if so, has the action prescribed? Narciso Buenaventura and Maria Buenaventura versus Honor Court of Appeals and Manotok Realty, Inc. GR, number 50837, December 28, 1992. In the city of Caloocan, Philippines, a piece of land became the center of a decades-long legal battle. This land, sprawling over 25,776 square meters, was once tenanted by Julian Kina. Julian, during his lifetime, dreamed of officially owning this land, which the Philippine government had acquired to sell to bona fide tenants like him. However, fate had other plans. Julian passed away in 1961, followed by his brother Justo in 1962, leaving behind a tangled web of inheritance. Julian's dream of land ownership seemed to pass on to his brother's children, Lorenzo Kina and Francisca Kina Rivera. In 1965, they were surprisingly declared the sole heirs and sold the land by the People's Homesite and Housing Corporation, PHHC, for P96 thou 4880. The transaction was swift, and soon the land was sold again, eventually landing in the hands of Manotok Realty, Inc. Enter Narciso Buenaventura and Maria Buenaventura, children of Emeteria, Julian's niece, who believed they were wrongfully excluded from inheriting a share of this valuable land. They decided to challenge the series of sales, and in 1976 took their case to court, seeking to annul the sales and reconvey the land to them. The legal battle reached the Philippine Supreme Court, which faced a critical question. Was the action for reconveyance based on alleged fraud, subject to prescription, and if so, had it prescribed? The court answered affirmatively, explaining that any claim based on fraud must be filed within 10 years from the issuance of the title. Sadly for Narciso and Maria, they filed their claim too late, over a decade after the title was issued. Dispositive portion of the Supreme Court decision. The Supreme Court affirmed the judgment of the Court of Appeals in toto, holding that the action for reconveyance filed by the petitioners had indeed prescribed and was also barred by laches. Important doctrines. 1. Prescription of action for reconveyance, based on fraud. Actions for reconveyance of property based on allegations of fraud are subject to a prescriptive period. In this case, the Supreme Court applied a 10-year prescriptive period, starting from the issuance of the transfer certificate of title. 2. Laches. Even if an action is technically imprescriptible, it may still be barred by laches if there is an unreasonable delay in asserting a right, leading to prejudice against the defendant. Laches applies independently of prescription and is concerned with the inequity of permitting a claim to be enforced after a significant delay. 3. Implied or constructive trusts. When fraud is alleged in the transfer of property, an implied or constructive trust is created in favor of the defrauded party. However, an action to enforce such a trust is subject to prescription, typically within 10 years, from the wrongful acquisition of property. The Supreme Court's decision to dismiss the Buenaventura's claim was a stark reminder of the importance of vigilance in asserting one's rights. The moral of the story? Time waits for no one, and justice operates within the bounds of law, which includes deadlines. Disclaimer: this story is based on true events from Philippine jurisprudence. While care has been taken to present the facts accurately, details may be simplified for a general audience. This story is not legal advice and cannot be taken as infallible or free from errors.